Hello, mutants. I'm Mutisha the Movie Goddess, and you're watching Mutant TV.
Welcome back, mutants. Streebo here with you again. I got a lot of feedback on my last video about my Blu-ray, DVD, and VHS collection, so I thought I'd give you a closer look at my classics shelf. People wanted to see more of the Blu-ray, so I figured this time around I'd just focus on the Blu-ray. So, here we go. This is a nice little gem. Now you have to remember, Streebo 101, never pay full price for anything if you have a chance of finding it at a second-hand shop somewhere, whether it's a pawn shop, a used bookstore, used game, movie, music store, what have you. This is True Blood Season 1 on Blu-ray. I scored this baby for 15 bucks at a local pawn shop, and you know, this is still a $45 set. It's pretty sweet. I used to really like True Blood when it first started. It was very quirky. It still has a lot of great horror and gore sequences in it, but there's just too much bad soap opera for me to continue to follow it. I gave up after during season 5. I saw the first episode and I was like, I can't do it. I'm not going along for the ride on this season, guys. Sorry. But first season, quirky characters, good horror moments, lighthearted comedy, awesome gore effects. Very cool. Makes for an awesome Blu-ray for 15 bucks. Blu-ray collection, that is. Starting at the bottom of my shelf in New Millennium, we come to the most recent release. This is actually the one on the bottom corner, the Blu-ray for Cloud Atlas. I saw this in the theater last year, really enjoyed it. I actually took Mama Streebo Rama to go see it, and she really enjoyed it. And we had a fun discussion about it on MVP Mutant Radio and talked about how stupid people probably wouldn't like it. So, I don't know, some of you watching this might not care for that review, but the rest of you, I say go and check it out. Nice little Blu-ray. I'm not a fan of slipcase covers, can I just admit that? I usually just throw them away, or I set them to the side to use just to keep around if the artwork is good. Like I don't like the stickers on these. It's really ugly. I think it mars the artwork. I would rather see this, even though I know, you know, the slip cases will keep the cases safer and they won't get scratched up and dinged up. But I don't know. I don't like those stickers. I'd rather just have it all natural. Awesome movie, by the way, one of my favorites. I think, yes, MVP Mutant Radio, we voted it Best Fantasy of 2012. So, there you go, Cloud Atlas. Check it out, yo! $5. Next on the Blu-ray shelf is the greatness that is Prometheus. Half of you just turned off this video, which is fine. Go ahead and turn it off. If you're not willing to bow down, then we don't need you. And Prometheus was actually... losing my focus there, sorry guys. I love this cover. This is one I paid full price for. The week it came out, I went ahead and sprung for the combo pack. So it's got the 3D, the Blu-ray, the DVD, the digital copy. And I really love this cover. I wasn't blown away by the other covers, but this shows David in the control room. It's a great sequence. It's a pretty sweet little set. Check that out. I like the artwork on the discs themselves. That's an adaptation of a classic Giger artwork. I don't know what it's called though. I don't know his stuff that well. I would love to have Giger's Necronomicon, but I've never been able to find a copy for a price I can afford. Up next, X-Men First Class, which I thought was the best superhero movie of 2011. Fantastic movie. I can't wait for X-Men Days of Future Past to come out. I like this particular cover where it has both Xavier and Magneto on the cover, because to me that of course represents the the central thesis of X-Men. One of my favorites. And again, a $5 pawn shop conquest. Yeah. Up next, Super 8. This is one I bought full price. Actually, I really don't like this slipcase cover at all. Of course, it's got the stickers all over it, which I automatically hate. Just say no to stickers. But then it's got this ugly yellow at the top and this red stripe. I just don't like that at all. I don't know why I haven't just tossed it to the side yet. I like the regular case much more, which is actually turned on its side, as you should know. If I can get everything out of the way. Sorry there, guys. So I love that picture, the kids standing out there in the field. One of my absolute favorite movie of 2011, only because I didn't get to see X-Men First Class that year. I somehow missed it at the theater. Oh, I remember why. I asked this young lady to go see it with me, and she turned me down, so I wound up not going to see it. So, oh well, that's what happens sometimes. Kevin Smith's Red State, perhaps his best film. Lots of good things in it. My relationship with this movie is strange. I tried to get G to go see it with me in Atlanta when Kevin was touring the country with it, and we wound up not being able to make that trip. Then I tried to go meet Smith at the recent Fandom Fest, and he wound up changing the dates that he would be there and decided to come in the middle of the week instead of the actual weekend when the festival was ongoing. So what can you do? Nice Blu-ray though. Up next we have Inception. Classic modern sci-fi film. Part sci-fi, part action. All awesome. Got to see that in the theater multiple times. Actually took several members of my family to see it, and they just enjoyed it for what it was. So I love it when a genre flick can really cross barriers and bring in non-genre fans. And here we have my favorite film of 2010, I do believe, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, featuring a bravura performance from Michael Cera in the part he was born to play, aside from George Michael on Arrested Development, which was another part he was born to play. But if there's a person born to play two parts, these were the two. Just all out, anything goes, comic book superhero movie for the video game generation. It's too bad it was a total freaking failure at the box office. And this was a Christmas present from Mama Streebo Rama, I do believe. Well, you know, I'm a mama's boy. What can I say? But she has good taste when I send her my Amazon wish list. Yeah, boy! Up next from 2010, Splice, which was my pick for best horror film of 2010. Highly underrated film. The best sci-fi horror film since David Cronenberg's The Fly, in my opinion. Well, if you count Event Horizon, that was a great one in there too, but love the science fiction tale of this one. And the all-out, anything goes nature of it, because it does not hold back. There are points that you will yell at the screen. That's what happened at the screening when I saw it in the theater. Some of the audience was just yelling at it. No! Don't do it! Anytime you can get that level of interaction from your audience, you're watching something good. Shutter Island with Leonardo DiCaprio, Martin Scorsese, which I thought was freaking brilliant. You know, I know a lot of people have attacked the story as being simple, or the plot as being simple, or what have you, but it's just a fantastic suspense, thriller, borderline horror film experience from one of the greatest directors of the modern generation, of our time, if you will, Martin Scorsese. Okay, I'm gonna have to speed this up a little bit because I'm not even halfway through this bottom shelf, the New Millennium stuff. Here we go. Moon, my pick for probably the most original sci-fi film of the New Millennium. Absolute indie masterwork. Great performance by Sam Rockwell. Another great fantasy work right here. Guillermo del Toro's Hellboy 2. Check out this cover. Lenticular cover. That's what those are called. Alternates between the artwork of Hellboy from the comic, as drawn by Mike Mignola, to the character of Hellboy in the movie. And you can do this cool kind of halfway thing. Check that out. Wow. Played by Ron Perlman. Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. That's a cover I do like because it adds to the art. You know, it's not just another place for stickers to be placed. So, Star Trek reboot from 2009, which I absolutely love as both a fan of the classic Trek series and the movies and what have you. I thought they did a great job of reviving it and staying true to the spirit of the originals. I know a lot of people will think that's blasphemy, but what can you do? Shatner liked it. He said as much at the Fandom Fest, so there you go. I can't believe they were able to recast that movie. I thought it would never happen, but they won me over. I really enjoyed this movie and Star Trek Into Darkness, which I will definitely pick up on Blu-ray. Here's another gem. Tropic Thunder on Blu-ray. I actually don't like this director's cut as much as the theatrical cut. I think the theatrical cut is a little bit tighter, but my pick for probably the greatest comedy of the past 5-6 years. Just fantastic performances from everybody involved, from Stiller to Jack Black to Robert Downey Jr. doing comedy. I mean, his performance is meta. Plus, he does a commentary track on this, and he stays in character through the whole commentary track. So he takes it to another level. If you like that kind of stuff, then Tropic Thunder is a total classic. Okay, these are all $5 Blu-rays. We have The Dark Knight on Blu-ray. This is probably the best cover of this. I was pretty underwhelmed by the cover designs for The Dark Knight in particular. I actually like The Dark Knight Rises a little bit more, and Batman Begins, but I didn't care for the approach they took on those covers. Now, I like this back artwork and how the Joker's kind of written all over the Blu-ray case itself. So, another movie I really loved. I used to love this story as a kid, Where the Wild Things Are. And going to see this was amazing. It was like just taking a trip back through time. But I must say, an absolutely beautiful Blu-ray. Gorgeous. Iron Man, another $5. All these were $5 conquests from the pawn shop. Just over the months, over the years, over the weeks, what have you. You got an extra $5, then boom, you can get a nice little Blu-ray. Iron Man 1, one of the 10 greatest superhero movies ever made, featuring probably the #2 greatest performance as a superhero ever, from Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark / Iron Man. Can't go wrong with it. Unless you're watching Iron Man 3, which sadly I'll probably have in my collection one day, but I'm definitely going to wait for it to hit that $5 bin. Up next, the 300, The Complete Experience book Blu-ray. I don't know what these are called. This is not a steel book, but it's a book. Pretty sweet. I like the artwork in it. I do like these, but they kind of mess up the height of the DVDs on the shelf. That kind of annoys me at times. I know that's nerdy, but what can you do? Nice comparison of the graphic novel artwork there to the actual movie. Nice stuff. This is considered one of the 10 best Blu-rays to own, just in terms of the visual quality of the movie itself, the audio quality, and the presentation of this collector's book, and all the extras included therein. So there you go, 300. Another classic, Pan's Labyrinth, absolutely gorgeous on Blu-ray. See, when you get to, oh, there's somebody trying to sneak in, look. That's Willow. When you get to to the modern day, and you have these guys that are shooting for the ultimate cinematic experience, whether it's in the theater or now in HD at home on your Blu-ray player. You get some really magical works, like stuff like Del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth here. This is just an amazing movie to watch. This is what Blu-ray was made for. The Descent, paid $8 for that from Alternative Exchange. Shout out to Melissa. You can find her at all the retro screenings usually, and Dragon Con, cool stuff like that. And of course she'll be at the Mad Monster Party. But anyway, she always has some nice Blu-rays and DVDs on hand, nice sets, collections, what have you, for a decent price. And $8 for The Descent was good enough for me. Up next, you have 2005 Sin City. This is a sweet Blu-ray. It even looks good on DVD because Rodriguez shoots in HD now. It's not too complicated. This is the simple little Blu-ray set. It has all the versions of the film, several commentaries, lots of nice behind-the-scenes stuff, making of, and essentially pioneered the green screen superhero comic book worlds that you see now. That was taken to full advantage by Zack Snyder and 300. So Robert Rodriguez does not get enough credit for pioneering that stuff. More Del Toro and more Hellboy. Just one of the most fantastic looking superhero series ever committed to celluloid, hence ever committed to Blu-ray. I mean, the stuff you see in these movies you won't see anywhere else. Losing my focus, sorry guys. There we go. There's Samael at the top, Hellboy and Liz, and there's Rasputin with his cool ass with his cool glove there. So cool stuff. Sorry, I hit the camera. So cool stuff. I was actually kind of dismayed when the Samael character appeared, because in the original script for Timelines #1, there's a character named Samael. And of course we were using angelic mythology there, and here Del Toro is using Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythology. But it always bugs me when I come up with something, I'm like, oh yes, nobody's using this yet, and then, you know, the next week here's Hellboy movie with the same character name. So what can you do? Here's my pick for best slasher film of the decade, High Tension. This movie is messed up. I did get to see it during its theatrical run. It looks great on Blu-ray. This is one of those movies that horror fans either love it or they hate it, but I love it. And I actually prefer the original title. No, not Hot Tension, but Switchblade Romance, because it seems to sum up the actual storyline a bit better for me than High Tension. But I saw it in theater, and these old ladies got up in the middle of it. And I mean, they were old. They were gray-headed. They were probably in their 60s or 70s, and they walked out. But they made a point to say very loudly as they were going down the aisle, they would never watch a movie like this ever again. And then they walked out. And then 15 minutes later, they came back in and sat down and watched the rest of the movie. So what can you say? That's the strange attraction that horror films have, that a really good, even great horror film has. It'll pull in its detractors even. Okay, here's another modern classic in my opinion, Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. Not the greatest cover in the world, mind you, but I suppose what's on the inside is what's most important, because this is one of those movies that I call the 10-in-1 horror film. You know, it's definitely a freak show, but it's also a tour or a time capsule through American rural horror. So there you go, and it looks fantastic on Blu-ray. So love it. Way to go, Rob Zombie. Kill Bill 2, one of my favorite Chopsaki films ever made. Great action. The second to last great performance by David Carradine, because his last great performance was as the Master in Rob Schneider's Big Stand, about Schneider being sent to prison and wanting to learn Jeet Kune Do from David Carradine so he can prevent himself from being raped in the showers. And we talked about that at length on Vault of Mysterious Information with Corey G and myself, so check that out at their website. And of course, Kill Bill #1. Now, if you saw my last video, I had a Kill Bill slipcase on there, and that was actually a Best Buy exclusive that they were giving away when I went to buy the Kill Bill Volume 2 DVD. And then years later, I got the Blu-rays out of the $5 bin. So, yeah! Alright, we're coming down the wire here, so I'm going to speed things up. Because we've got just the last few for the new millennium. Guillermo del Toro returns for Blade 2. My pick for one of the top 10 superhero movies ever made. It's a live action anime, and you know, one of the best even chopsocky films you're ever going to see. Not even just superhero films, but good stuff. Donnie Darko, definite cult classic. What it's about, no one knows. Is it part sci-fi? Is it part comedy? Is it part teen drama? What is it? It's all of the above. Is it part horror film? It's Donnie Darko. And this is a sweet, sweet Blu-ray. Again, $5 bin. Now this is one, X2 I actually had to buy on sale at Best Buy, but I got a pass to see Wolverine Origins for free with it. I didn't pay full price for it, but it was like one of those when they go $5 off or $10 off. No, it was $10 for it with free pass to Wolverine Origins. So even trade-off, I suppose, because this is a great Blu-ray, but Wolverine Origins was a horrible movie, which sadly I have on Blu-ray in the other room on the Wheel Beyond Good into Evil. But again, it was cheap, so that's why I have it. Spider-Man, one of my favorites, and one of my picks for top 10 greatest superhero movies ever made. Directed by Sam Raimi. Starring Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. Classic film. I have just a couple more here that are actually not worked into the shelf yet, but this one I just scored just this week. The pawn shop I go to is having a 5 for $15 Blu-ray sale, so this is one of the 5 I picked up. Great looking movie. I had a lot of fun with this adaptation from Tim Burton. It's very nutty, very visually entertaining, and great looking Blu-ray. And one of my all-time favorites, and now a perennial Halloween favorite, Trick or Treat from 2009, though I think it was actually shot in like 2005 or 6. Great cast all around, great effects, great story, great Halloween myth, and just a great Blu-ray. And I've just got to work it into the shelf there. And we started out with True Blood and Anna Paquin. We talked about the X-Men, which also had Anna Paquin, and now we'll close it out with Trick or Treat, which also features Anna Paquin, but not her, you know what, if you know what I'm saying. But she was very sweet in this one. She's the virgin after all. So anyway. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this up. This is Streebo. I've been talking to you about my Blu-ray collection. If you want more of this stuff, check us out at mutantville.com. I'll see you next time.